Okay, so I'm not even sure I'm going to publish this. If I do, it's going to be a long, boring, weird video. But I wanted to make a video, at least for myself, so that I have this in case I need to recreate it sometime. I'm stealing the sounds. I'm taking the sounds out of these ML Drums plugins. These are awesome sounding, and they've got great bus processing. Like this mixer's got, saturation and EQ and compression and like a reverb that's kind of okay. It sucks. But like you've got, mixing for the overhead mics and the room mics and stuff. And I wanted to, while this is great, something that I often do is I stack my snares, especially. Can't really do it with toms unless they have perfect tuning, but snares and kicks, I stack those. I put multiple snares on one MIDI note because it just sounds better. It just sounds fuller and more, in your face. You can take characteristics from 4 different snares and make them into a single snare. And what this process is basically doing that, but I'm doing it with all of the velocities and trying to capture all of the round robins so that I'm going to create a Ableton drum kit that is basically a less expensive to the CPU version of, round robins, multiple velocities, and it's portable. It's something I could take with me and throw on a little high goal PC, little, micro PC, and I don't need to worry about licensing or anything like that. I mean, I own the plugins, so I'm just borrowing the sounds. So this is the workflow for how I'm doing it. First things first, obviously I gotta mix my shit. So let me get, just like this is going to be annoying for anyone else who isn't a sound designer. Feel free to watch a meme video, cat video or whatever. Here comes sound design, listening to snares for 5 minutes. Yeah, that gives me more air in the sustain. All right, fine. I'm happy. It's not terrible. All right. So anyway, each of these clips are a single note. They're 4 seconds long. This is just playing. Whoops. This is just playing my combined snare, right? So now that I've got this, I'm going to duplicate it. So I always just save right before, just because sometimes it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to. So I duplicate. It's a Control D on Ableton. I'm waiting about 30 seconds, 20 seconds. All right. And I should have my duplicate here now. Yep. Cool. All right. And then I'm just going to say this is SNR2. This is just for me. I will name these clips by the velocities that they are. And so you might be wondering why there's 5 sets of 16. That's because since there's 5 samples, 3 to 5 samples on each snare drum, meaning the round robins at every velocity level. So since I'm using 4 of them, technically all of the round robins, they're not exactly like they're not in sequence. So you end up with these like random recombinations of the 4 different snares. So you end up with more than just 5 round robins. So I figured, why not 16, whatever. And so that's why I got 16. And so each of these are set at a specific velocity level, which is the highest level at that velocity layer. So there's 5 layers for the snare drums, and then there's 3 layers for all the other instruments, pieces. So these 3 layers for kicks and cymbals and stuff. I'm really just using these for kicks and toms because I'm not sampling the cymbals. I'm just sampling the drums for my live drum kit. So anyway, we got 16 each of every velocity layer, and I'm just going to freeze and flatten this with all of the mixing that I've done. So we'll just do that. Freeze and flatten. This takes, I don't know, not too long. It's pretty fast. For all the work that it's doing, it's pretty fucking cool. And there we go. I now have all of these samples as individual takes. Now, pay attention though, because if you look at the audio, it's actually a giant piece of audio. And I didn't want to use this with my simpler. I actually wanted individual samples. So what I'm doing is cropping them all. So I just select all, and then I'm right click crop, and that will crop all my samples. Wonderful. And then I will do a select one of them, show in Explorer. And there's all my samples. I've got it, whatever, ranked by date. So I'm just looking at the time right here. So this 3:52:34 or 54. So I'll just make sure I don't have anything else. 3:52. Nope, that's earlier. All right, so we're starting right here, 15 all the way up. I got a bunch of, you know, the whatever files, the extra files here. ASD, the Ableton ones. Now here's what I'm going to do. I grab all of these, and I can discard these because I don't need them. And then I'm going to another location for editing. So I'll just call this SNR2 noisy. And I'm just going to grab all these, control drag. Control drag does a copy. So I'm just copying all of these over. And now I will rank them by their velocities, and I'm just going to rename them all. So selecting everything with the 25 at the beginning, hit F2, type in SNR 25. I think that was my naming convention. Let me check real quick. I think it... No, let me check the naming convention on the other one. I did SNR 25. SNRZ 25. All right. Yeah, right. The little Z made it easier to read. SNRZ 25. Okay. And just making sure I got 16 items, because sometimes it'll record a tail. I added the length column just to make sure I don't have a tail, because you put a tail in as a sample, then you're basically getting silence for that one sample. SNRZ, this is 48. SNRZ 75. SNRZ 100. SNRZ 127. Do all of these have... Let's put a space, because I think the other ones didn't have a space. SNRZ 25. All right, cool. So now that I got all these, I need to drop them all into a simpler. So I've got one here, and this is what I'm doing to the simpler. I have 3 voices. This R, I forget what the R does. It's retrigger. So if you get a dupe, it retriggers. But we're round robining, so I don't think it matters. But then, yeah, so this is turned up. I did not use velocity, volume to velocity. It didn't sound right. It just makes the high velocity stuff louder and the low velocity stuff quieter. I was trying to make it so that I had like a little bit of a volume ramp in between the zones, but didn't work. Sustain. Yeah. I'm turning all of this shit up because who cares? The big move here is dragging this all the way up and then dragging this to the right and this all the way to the right. and then that just gives you like a one shot. So yeah. Now I'm opening up this zone. This is the original one that I had in here. This is my old one. So I'm just going to grab all of these and get rid of them. So this is now empty. I'll go to the folder that I just made. And I'm grabbing these from the bottom to the top. So I'm grabbing 127 first. And then the last one I grab is this one here. So shift click. And then I'm holding the click and I drop it. And what that does is it puts them all in the correct order. It writes all the ASD files. And then now I'm just going to select all, put them all on C3 because that's what the Ableton Drum Rack expects. Okay. And then we will do our round robin is already enabled. Just so you see it, it's round robin, other, no reset. And then the velocity, I will set up the velocity layers. So we'll take snare, first one. We'll just go to 25. I'm just using their convention. Oh, wait, there was more. The last time I did this, it was with toms, and I did it with less round robins because it was, I only used one layer of toms, so I didn't need the combo wombo. All right. And then this goes to 48. All right. And then this one goes to 75. Okay. This one goes to 100. And this is just saying for all of these round robins, here are my velocity layers. Here's where I want to basically limit, when I play a drum that has a velocity of X, then play these samples. So now anything from 101 to 127 will be playing these samples here, right? The ones that are in the 127 zone. So a sample in this area will play these samples and it will round robin them. So that's how you do round robins with with velocity layers. All right, so this is snares 2, and I will save it. I just hit enter. I know where it's going. And then I'm going to send that to my JZ drums tag. Wonderful. There. So now I've got another drum. So just to kind of show that off, I guess. Obviously I've got it sitting here, but I could just do a drum rack. Instruments, drum rack. Okay. And then I'll go to my tags. Where is JZ drums? All right, drum rack. I already built a whole kit here. I got to go to my library, right? Here we go. JZ drums. And we'll pull up snares 2, put that in the snare. Boom. All right, so now I will go to the end of this thing so I'm not interrupting anything. And let's just make a beat. All right, so snare. All right, and then we'll do our velocities. Let's do a velocity ramp. Cool. And then let's do, let's just duplicate this and put the ramp up at 100 and play it. So there you go. So if you have a keen ear, you can hear that those are all individual, unique snares. And then that was the velocity ramp is just showing you how natural the kit sounds. And it's all contained in one sampler. So the CPU hit is nothing. Even if I have a zone with a fuck ton of samples in here like this, That's not a big deal, even for small, shitty computers. So this is a whole lot less CPU than this, where I've got 4 plugins open, and even the plugin takes a minute to show up. So I've got these all costing who knows how much CPU, and then I've got this one which is absolutely minimal. Might not be the best sound, but whatever. I needed a video to kind of remind myself how I did this. And who knows? I'll watch it, and if I like it, I'll go ahead and publish it. Alrighty, cool.